is over.
Hey guys, I'm Wrestling Daze, and you're listening to the Insiders Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Insiders Podcast. We are so happy to have you guys here with us today, and we want to start off by saying a couple things. First of all, if you haven't already, please go to our YouTube channel and like the videos and subscribe to our channel as well. We are really thankful for you guys this week. We hit 500 followers, and we cannot thank you guys enough. That is a tremendous thing after us only being here for 1 month, and it's just so amazing. You guys are awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for everybody that you told about us, and please continue to do that. Any friends or anybody else you may know, let them know about us and have them go to our channel and hit that like and subscribe. And as always as well, we are available in podcast format. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, any of those formats, you can go and listen to the show as well. The other thing I wanted to talk about really quickly is we have some great news. If you did not see this on the Twitter account, you all listened to that interview with Brandy last week, which was amazing. We loved it. Everyone just thought it was a great interview, and we agreed with you guys so much to the point where we got in touch with Brandy, and she had nothing but great things to say about you guys as well, and thanking the community for your comments during the stream and days as well. So we thought, we had such a great time talking to her. Why not have her be a part of our show? And so we reached out to Brandy and we asked her if she would enjoy doing that. And she actually said she would, which is amazing news. She's going to have a little segment on our show, and she named it, and she's calling it Hot Tag, which I absolutely love. Love the wrestling terminology. And she's going to do that every week. She said she wants to start off with some stuff about Bret Hart, which is amazing. She's got awesome knowledge of the classics. So look forward to that. Next week, we're going to start off with that segment as well. So we've got a jam-packed show for you guys, but we're going to start with this. And during the Q&A segment, so you guys sent us a lot of Q&A in for our Q&A segment this week, which we answered a little bit later in the show with Mr. Rotella. But one question in particular is about my co-host, Jeff. So this one is, and you guys may have heard this, may have not, but WrestleMania asks, I want to know what's happening with Jeff and the wrestling. What's the story? How did he come to the decision? Where is he going to practice? Does he still have his gear? Does he have a wrestling name? Can he do a torpy suicidal? I have no idea what that is. Does he have a fanny pack? And if so, what's inside? So there you go, Jeff. Again, if you guys didn't know, my co-host and partner Jeff is starting back up in wrestling again. So very exciting. And go ahead, Jeff, man, take it away. Let WrestleMania know.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the last couple questions. I don't have a fanny pack, so I'm sorry to disappoint anyone who was hoping that I did. I think Zicky Dice already cornered the market on that. So
I would agree. Yes.
So no fanny pack for me. What I can say, well, let me answer the other one. I have my old gear. It is packed away in storage somewhere. So even if I knew exactly where it was, there's just no way I could wear it. I'll just put it like that. I was a much smaller man at that point. So yeah, but just to fill anyone who hasn't listened or doesn't know, I did wrestle on the independent circuit. I wrestled for about 7 years, and it was, I had a lot of fun, had a blast, and really enjoyed it. And, it was just a different time in my life. And, the way I actually came to wrestle is when I was in college, we had a video production project for one of my classes where we had to shoot a documentary. and we ended up connecting with the local wrestling promotion, independent wrestling promotion, and we got to interview a lot of the wrestlers there, and they, threw the idea out that, hey, it'd be really cool if not only are you interviewing us and showing what we do, but if one of you guys would actually train to wrestle in a match. So I was the biggest guy in the group, so they said, yeah, Jeff, that's going to be you. And I said, all right, let's do it. And went through that process and enjoyed it so much that I kept doing it. I have not wrestled since 2008. So, and part of that is because of injuries, knee injuries, knee surgeries, back injuries, because the business does take a toll on you. That coupled with the fact that I was a college athlete and, had a lot of wear and tear at that point as well. So yeah, it was challenging to walk away from wrestling, but I felt at that time it was important to, because my body was just broken down at that point. So fast forward to now, and over the last, I'd say 6 months, I've really missed the wrestling business and being involved as a performer and, as a wrestler, and really started thinking about ways I could get involved again. And, for some of you that listen to a couple of our interviews, especially the one with James Dennis, you'll probably remember that I'm one of the co-owners and VPs for IWO Wrestling. So, that was one way I got back into the business, but it really never felt like it was enough. So just through a lot of thinking and, just missing the business, I said, well, I'll see if I can give it a shot. And, if anyone would give me an opportunity to, I would gladly do it again. Well, I got a phone call from one friend. I won't mention that friend's name right now, but you all will hear from that friend soon. But I got a call from a friend, and he said that one of the old promoters that we used to work with is opening his own promotion again. He's going to do another promotion. And he said that he would like for me to kind of be the guy for a little bit, to kind of, carry the title for a while and be the guy in that promotion if I was interested. And I was a little bit hesitant. Joe was actually on, Joe and I were talking when I got the phone call.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Joe can attest to the fact that I was kind of back and forth on doing this. And I actually talked to the promoter, and we set up time for me to go train. And I went to train in Florence, South Carolina, at his home, where he has a big, huge building at the back of his home, and he has the ring set up in there. And actually went to train yesterday. We're recording this on Sunday, but I went to train on Saturday, and really surprised myself and surprised the promoter. And his son was gracious enough to get in the ring with me, and we did a little mini match, and things went pretty well, and he thought that I was more fluid in the ring and doing some different things than I had ever been before, which was shocking, especially after the first 30 minutes of training, because I thought I was going to die. And at one point I just looked at him and I said, if I die, just tell everyone I died in a happy place. So yeah, I trained, and obviously today I'm extremely sore. But it's a good kind of sore, because it lets me know that that I'm working towards that goal once again. So I'm really excited. I feel like I rambled on way too long, but I'm really excited about this next chapter and being back in the ring. Obviously, I don't feel like my career, I don't feel like I'll be in ring for a long time. I know that, I plan on doing it as long as my body will allow. But I do think that I'll be doing some other things probably behind the scenes with different promotions, but I'm really excited about it. And I do have a name. I we'll do something else with the name. I won't give that away today, and part of the reason is because we're still trying to fine tune the gimmick and everything. But I'm really excited about it. It's a completely different character than what I portrayed during my early days, which I'm excited about because I was hesitant when I was first given that first gimmick, but this one I feel really good about and I'm excited about it. So yeah, I think that's it, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, listen, everybody's thrilled for you. I know a lot of them have been a lot of the community members have been inquiring about it. So there you go, guys.
Yeah. And that too. I just want to thank everyone for being so supportive because it was something that I really didn't know if I could do it or if I should try it again because I was just afraid of injuries. But I'll say that with all the support and love and positive feedback that I've gotten from everyone, that was definitely a push in that direction for me to pursue this once again.
There you go, guys. And this is going to be awesome because, we get to follow Jeff from that perspective. And again, we get to see, what this is going to be like for his journey. And I am so excited for it. And I know you guys are as well. So, Jeff just wanted to just talk about it a little bit on the show today, just to let everybody know what's going on. So we really appreciate that. And we are definitely looking forward to seeing where this goes for Jeff and his journey back into the land of wrestling. So that's awesome, man. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the first part of our show today, and we are going into J&J's Hot Topic. So obviously, there have been a few hot topics over the last week. We're going to try to hit on both of them a little bit in the show today, but the first one here, and I put out a poll for this one. So we got a Twitter site called The Message last week, and the message was this hacker, right? So he now has a Twitter site, and there's been some investigation into that, and people realized that the site is an old wrestling site that was used for some campaign that they were doing 10 years ago or 9 years ago, an anti-bullying campaign Twitter site. So the question, went out there. So who is this? Is it a group of people? Is it one person? Who is this hacker? And when are we going to see this hacker, come out into the forefront on the show? So I put the poll out there and I said, who is or are the hacker or hackers? Who is sending the message? Tell us your reasons why you think so. And you guys voted pretty overwhelmingly for Ali, 44% of you. And then it came in Xavier Woods at 20% and Shorty G at 16%. And also 20% of it also came back with others. So you guys have a lot of ideas who the other could be. And we'll get to some of those right now. Jeff, what do you think this is a group? Do you think this is one guy? And when do you think we're going to see these guys?
I think it's a group of people led by one person. Like I think it's one person at the head of it with different people helping them out. I think we may get a payoff at Money in the Bank. At least that's what I'm hoping. But I want it to be done well. So maybe it has to build out another month or so. But I'd really like to see the payoff at Money in the Bank. But honestly, I think that all three names that were mentioned, I think all of them are part of it. Okay. And, I feel like Ali was the dead giveaway, but I feel like that's too easy.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And I feel like I'm not going to call him Shorty G. I'm calling him Chad Gable.
Yeah.
I feel like Chad Gable is involved in some way too. And in terms of Xavier Woods, I'm not real sure if people noticed this on Friday night, but there was a point where Kofi Kingston was talking, and Big E looked very disinterested. And I feel like that will kind of play into Xavier Woods and his involvement, because I don't know if anyone else picks up on this, but every time the WWE sends something out about tag team reigns, and obviously at this point, the New Day, they're an elite company when it comes to tag team title reigns. And every time they bring this up, they always mention Big E and Kofi. They rarely ever include Xavier Woods in it. And oftentimes he'll come back on social media and say, hey, you know, I'm a part of the New Day too. I'm a part of the longest reign and, you know, the 8 times, you know, and all that stuff. So I feel like this is kind of leading up to him being involved, and we may see a Big E heel turn once he reveals some things. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, the Big E heel turn is something that people have wanted for a long time. He would be an absolutely amazing heel, I think.
Yes.
Something
Yes.
that SmackDown kind of sorely needs, to be honest, right now, because,
Yes.
you know, there really aren't a lot of them. And I mean, everybody's pretty much disinterested completely in King Corbin. So I'm not even going to talk or go there. But yeah, and to your point, Xavier, if you look back on a lot of the history with them too, Xavier has been kind of the guy who always got beat up the most and always kind of got, you know, was always, like you said, kind of like the forgotten guy a little bit. So he could easily turn that around, you know, to be, you know, in this new group coming back and then kind of exposing Big E. Yeah, man, that would be awesome. My thoughts are, I agree with you pretty much on all points. I agree it's a faction. I think there's more than one of these. I do think they got a lot of this from, there's a TV show that I don't know if you guys have seen. I was a big fan of it, just ended last year, called Mr. Robot. And it's about a group of hackers. They may have gotten a lot of things from it because it's very similar to, in fact, even the hoodie. He wore a hoodie in the show and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think it's a faction. I do agree with Jeff as well. I think all 3 of these guys are involved. I think Xavier Woods, I think, you know, there's stuff. And hey, listen, there could be more that we haven't seen yet. I mean, obviously, you know, the pictures of the tag teams up there, is there a female involved in this that we haven't seen or heard of? I mean, some of you have pointed out that there was a picture with the hoodie of a right hand, and it was certainly a female's right hand. So is there going to be a female involved in this faction as well? Because we did see the picture of Bayley and Sasha. Some people say Ronda Rousey's coming back this way. I mean, we don't know. But yeah, I do agree. I think this is going to be a faction. I think this is going to be a big faction. There's going to be, you know, several people, I think, in this. Now, whether or not they reveal who they are, maybe it'll be one at a time. Maybe it'll be by group. We don't know. But I think as well it will be revealed at Money in the Bank or before it. Let me go into a couple of your comments. I'm going to read these out, what you guys have guessed and listed below. The hacker is. We have one from Quotes, the Bloodhound, JS17. He says, Dean Ambrose, ha, 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 just joking. And I don't think it's going to be Dean Ambrose.
No.
We have Jack with an R, and he wrote other, Hornswoggle. So there you go. I don't know. The Hornswoggle was on the indie circuits for a while. I don't think he's coming back either. Amanda Catherine, shout out to you. She says, I think it's both Ali and Shorty G, Chad Gable. They tagged together after Crown Jewel last year for a bit, but never really went anywhere. Good point. Good call out. We also have Jackson Oak. Jackson Oak says, it's me. I'm the hacker, Jackson Oak says. All right. Hey, there you go. We have Yowie Wowie says, Ali would make the most sense. Some people think there are multiple hackers due to seemingly having 2 voice actors, but WWE might use various different voice actors for the hacker to throw us off course. That would constantly keep us guessing. And then he also writes, I also think it's Mustafa Ali because of one of Mustafa Ali's shirts. This shirt seems similar to the hacker. It mentions the truth and has a hooded man on the front. So there you go. And he did picture it here, Pro Wrestling Tees, and it says, you live for lies and I die for truth. And it's Mustafa Ali's t-shirt and does have a hooded figure on the front. So There you go.
Wow.
There you go. You found that out on the internet there. So there you go. Tyler Sims writes, it's Ali and Gable. I refuse to call him Shorty G. Jeff, there you go.
There we go. There we go.
We have a comment from Zerob. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Zerob Hussein. He writes Ali because I think he will suit the gimmick because of all the writing that comes up is like his Titantron, and also he is a former police officer. Could mean he reveals the bad guys and exposes them in front of everybody. Yeah, good call. We have undeniable heel, says Ali and Shorty, Chad Gable. We have Landon Peterman, says Gargano. So there's something different. And I know, actually, Jeff, you mentioned him when we were talking to Gary Cassidy.
Yeah, I'd love for it to be Gargano. I really would. I really would like for it to be Gargano and Candice LeRae, since we got that. Since we got their heel promo at their house last week, I'd love for it to be to have both of them included somehow. Yeah,
man, that's another great shout. We have Craig Mosty. Craig says would be interesting if it was Woods and how it could play out with the New Day. Yeah, man, we discussed this a little bit earlier. That could be a very, very big thing, especially if it leads to that heel turn that we mentioned. Moda is going to interview actually with us this week, and Moda calls out, says, I think it's neck and neck between Ali and Xavier. Xavier makes more sense because I now believe that the hacker is somehow involved with the Fiend. I think they could be enemies of Bray and the Fiend. Xavier has history with Bray, so it makes more sense for it to be him, but it could go either way. Ali could provide a fresh enemy for Bray or the Fiend as well. Well, there you go. Some thinking it's it's going on with Bray. I mean, we did see the picture of the Fiend that was pulled up on the screen, so hey, man, you never know. We have Sports Entertainment says, I think I could be more than one. It could be more than one person, but for now I'll say Ali because he's been out for a very long time and he was a police officer in Chicago, so it makes sense. He wants justice for everyone. Yeah, great call. Kofi Essentials 6195. Shout out to Kofi. He always gives us answers on our polls and stuff. He says Consequences Woods. Woods. Wow, man.
That's a throwback.
There's a throwback shout out for you. That's awesome right there. We have
for folks that don't know, Xavier Woods wrestled in TNA, and he wrestled under the name of Consequences Creed. So just if you wanna go back and look up some of that, just look up TNA and Consequences Creed, and there you go. But that's a great shout right there.
That's awesome, man. Good job, Kofi. Nice shout out, buddy. We have Dave in Real Life says Ali is the clear choice with the blue circle, but I don't think he's alone. Chalmers in our community, shout out to Chalmers, called out Shorty G / Chad Gable as a possibility. He says, what if he teamed up with Ali to shake up the tag division by exposing fake tag teams or split tag teams? Yeah, man, that's a great shout as well. We have Stephanie, Stepheny, in capital letters. He says it might be Ronda Rousey. Absolutely. We mentioned that. There might be a female wrestler in this as well. We have Mr. Shea. He says the guy said us as in more than one. I believe it's anywhere from 2 to 4 guys. Yeah, man, we talked about this. Mr. Awesome, all capital letters, says it's Wrestling Daze. He thinks Wrestling Daze is the hacker. I don't know where he'd get the time, but hey, you never know. WrestleMania, shout out to you. She says it's Ali and Chad Gable, Ali and Shorty G. Undeniable Heel says the same thing, Ali and Shorty. Landon Peterman shouts Gargano. So another shout out for Johnny Gargano. So there you go. Michael Holt says could finally be a heel turn for Woods out of jealousy. That they have not needed him. Jeff's alluded to this earlier, and being injured could have twisted his mind a bit. Just a thought. Absolutely, man. Great shout out there. Another one for Ali and Shorty G. Friends Rage 187. And then the last two we have Tristan Hayes. He says, I'm going to say it's all three. They are the misfits of the WWE, even Xavier. He is in the New Day, but he's probably tired of being second best. And again, Jeff mentioned that. Ali and Chad were turned into jokes. Now they will be a faction. I can't wait to see how this plays out. And lastly, Ed Jackson says it'll be someone from NXT. So, yeah, man. I think we have a lot of the same people saying some similar things there. We had a couple votes in there for Johnny Gargano, another vote for someone from NXT. So is it going to be the three we mentioned and maybe a few more? Maybe Johnny Gargano is in it as well. Maybe there's a female. Maybe it's Candice LeRae. Maybe, it could be Ronda Rousey. We don't know. So, and yeah, like Jeff mentioned, I think that we're going to get a slow reveal. We only have a few weeks until Money in the Bank, so I think something during Money in the Bank is going to happen. Whether they'll all reveal themselves or not, maybe just one, who knows, but I do agree with that as well. So thank you, as always, guys, for getting us, answering the poll and putting your opinions down there. We always welcome that. So in our next segment, guys, this is a teaser, and we're going to have a couple of them in this show for you. So the first teaser for our interviews this week are both community interviews. So we had the pleasure of talking to Coaster Maniacs, and we had a good interview with him. He talks to us about his YouTube channel and where that name came from and what he's doing, how he found the community as well. So let's go right to that teaser. We're going to have that interview for you guys this coming Wednesday after NXT and AEW. So let's go to that interview. So let's switch up the conversation. So how did you get into when did you get into wrestling?
So I got into wrestling, when I was probably about 6 or 7. Funny story about this is that my mom worked at the corporate office of the KB Toys.
Yep.
And one day, randomly, the Hurricane showed up and did a meet and greet with the kids.
Oh, that's cool.
And, I got a chance to meet them. And ever since then, for some reason, I started watching it and started really liking it. And, of course, he became my favorite wrestler until I saw he lost all the time. And then they quickly switched over to John Cena when he was debuting as the Thugonomics, and I was in that era there.
Nice.
But it was actually kind of cool because we went to WrestleMania 35. I almost had to think about the last one, but I forgot there was no fans there.
Yeah. And
we went to Access, and we were in line. If anybody's going to an Access, heads up, by the way, they have sessions. And so if you're in session 1 to 5, midway through that session, everybody that you're there with, all the superstars switch out for new superstars. So I was there, and I went there a day early because I specifically wanted to meet Kurt Angle. And I got in the line for Kurt Angle. The guy at the beginning of the line is like, well, you might not be able to see him. And I'm like, I'll take my chances. We got another couple hours. So it should be fine. About an hour-ish, hour and a half later, we find out it's midway point. Everybody switches. We're still in the same line. Kurt Angle gets up, leaves. A bunch of other people that were with him leave. And out comes 4 new people that sit down at the table. So guess what? You're still in that line. You're meeting those 4 people that were. Oh man. And so the people that ended up switching out with Kurt Angle was Jeff Hardy, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and funny enough, the Hurricane.
Oh, and well, there you go. That worked out, I guess.
But so when word gets out that Jeff Hardy's coming around, because they show it on screens too, when they switch up like who's where. Everybody was running to the line where the Jeff Hardy was, but that line was closed because everybody that was in the line before is going to get their turn. And by the time that line gets over with, access for that session will be closed. So if you wanted to meet Jeff Hardy, you kind of got screwed a little bit there because everybody who was in line to meet somebody else was in line now to meet Jeff Hardy. And there's people dressed up like him. And I mean, I felt awful for them, but it's just they need a little bit better system.
Seems
but
like
I did show Hurricane the picture that I had as a kid, and he thought it was pretty cool. We did it side by side, and
cool.
He tweeted out.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I wasn't expecting to meet him too. And Finn Balor was there too, but they also have booths that are strictly just pictures. And when they do that, you might as well have a standee right there, because it's literally, you go up, hi bye. You can't really say anything to them, and you could tell that he wasn't really feeling it either. But unfortunately, that's just the way it was. Other than that, and the terrible seats that we had, it was still a really great time.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I've never been to a WrestleMania. I've been to live events, most of them when I was younger, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool that you got to go. Well, there you go. Our Jody, who does Abby's Window, that's probably a good thing that she heard that, because I know she unfortunately had access tickets to go this past one as well. And I know she was looking forward to trying to meet Bray and everybody at that one, but maybe she wasn't aware of the fact that they switched people around. So there you go.
Bray would have probably been an extra fee too, because they have some of the elite stars. You have to pay about $500 more on top of your ticket to get in.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little teaser we had there of our talk that we had with Coaster Maniacs. And again, guys, we love doing these community interviews. As you know, we had the Brandy interview last week. If you did not hear that, check that out. I already told you earlier. We're going to have her now as a partner on our show. And we also have coming up this week, we have Moda as well, who's going to interview with us. And keep letting us know when you guys would like to be on, because we always welcome you guys for those. So our next segment, and this is kind of a hot topic part 2. We're not going to spend as much time on this one because this is so it's not really pleasant necessarily to talk about. So we are going to talk about the Drake Maverick thing. We all know what Daze thought about this on his stream last week, and everything that's going on with that. And I know that I asked you guys in a poll as well about the Drake Maverick situation. And I put it out there. I just said, is the Drake Maverick thing is, please tell us your thoughts below. And I gave you 4 choices. I wrote in very poor taste. I wrote a work, making WWE look bad, and I have no idea. So the have no idea is 37%. And obviously we're all kind of up in the air in it right now. 23% said making WWE look bad, 26% said a work, and 14% said in very poor taste. So Jeff, what do you make of, and while we're doing this segment, you guys did send in some copies of your Drake Maverick t-shirts. I know Daze was wearing his, and I know a few of you did that too. So while we're talking about this, you'll see those pictures of some of those t-shirts posted up as well. So Jeff, what do you think, man? And I think we talked about this a little bit before with another interview that we did, but what do you think is going on with this Drake Maverick thing?
Oh man, I don't know. And honestly, that's the sad part of this, is because, his name was out there as one of the people that were released, and then WWE went through everything that they did, and, promoting his match, and, he was doing the same thing. And, then the story came out that he was in fact released and not re-signed with the company. And I think it was yesterday I saw a video clip that Drake Maverick posted where I forget who it was that interviewed Tony Nese on NXT, and he's basically burying Drake Maverick in that clip. And it just doesn't, none of it makes sense to me. And if they're going for a work, shame on WWE, because you've got all of these other people that were released that lost their jobs, and to use this as an angle would really paint them in a bad light. So I honestly, at this point, I don't really want to harp on it too much. I just want them to tell us what the heck they're doing, so we all know. but I don't really think that there's anything that it can do at this point to make it look good or make it make sense at this point, because right now it just doesn't. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And those interviews I was thinking about were the interviews with the community. So you'll hear a little bit of that in Coaster's interview. And we also asked Jason Peace about it. So we wanted to get your ideas on it. Yeah, I agree. I really don't see a way out of this. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for really anyone involved. And I think you had mentioned this too, is the only good way out of this is that, and you know, I think everybody's in agreement, is that they just stop. They just stop and admit that he's back with the company, if that's what it is, and just be done with it, because I mean, I think really those 4 choices I gave you were 4 choices that I probably had in my head, because it is in poor taste to me. And I think everybody agrees with that. I know Daze certainly did. It could be a work, yes. And if so, again, it goes in hand with that. It's in very poor taste if it is. Making them look bad, yeah. I can't see how, again, that they come out of this not looking bad with it. And then the I have no ideas. You know, look, the I have no ideas are the ones who mentioned, are the ones who won out here. And we really don't. We're not going to know week to week what's going on with this. But I just don't see how they're going to get around this thing. And I'm not going to dwell on it either, because it's just one of those topics where you don't like to think of the results, really, because you just don't know how it's going to come out. We did have one comment on that poll. It was from Faith Marlowe. Shout out to you. Says, I hope it's a work, because if not, it's just cruel. Yeah. That's a great summary to that. I agree 100% with that comment. So we'll see, guys. Stay tuned to NXT, obviously, because we're gonna find out one way or the other. So. Up next, guys, we've got our weekly segment with Mr. Adam Rotella. Adam was good enough to join us, like he always will, every week on our show for his segment called 605. And he's going to talk to you guys about what's going on with the NWA, and also maybe a little bit about that follow-up for that Camille video we got last week, which was amazing. I know Jeff loved that as well.
Yes. Absolutely. It was
amazing. An awesome video. Just awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, check that out on the NWA YouTube site. So, yeah, we're going to go to Mr. Rotella, and he's also going to sit in with us on Q&A. You guys sent us over some amazing questions this week. We could not get to them all. We did get to 2 of them, and Adam did help us with those questions as well. So let's go to that segment right now. Hey guys, and now it is time for our weekly segment with Mr. Adam Rotella. Adam is coming back every week with us for the 605 segment to tell you about what is going on with the NWA. Hey Adam, how are you? And thanks again for joining us.
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going today? And hello, Wrestling Daze community. You know, I'd like to say that I'm always a professional, but I really forgot what time it was, and I had no idea that I thought we were doing this podcast an hour from now. But so let's just pretend that I was on the ball and I knew that this was happening.
No worries, man. No worries.
So, folks, welcome to this week's 605 segment of NWA. As we all know, it is hard to find content these days, especially from the NWA, but I got a treat for you guys. Did you guys happen to watch the Question Mark and Aaron Stevens' first installment of Monrovia Unmasked? Did you guys get a chance to check that out?
I did, and I loved it. It was amazing. Amazing. I loved it.
So for the people out there that don't know what we're talking about, this is not available on NWA YouTube. This is not available on YouTube anywhere. It's actually on the Question Mark and Aaron Stevens Twitter page. It's only about a 2.5 minute video, but dude, it is packed with really, really fun stuff. Just today on NWA Coffee, I talked about how they mentioned the Mongrovian, pardon me, Questionable Bay, which is located in central Monrovia, whose water gives off the appearance of glass. And the question mark even tells us if you throw a pebble in these waters, there would be no ripples. Joe, how beautiful must that place be?
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. To see something like that, stunning. Got to be, I mean, how did that not make one of the 7 wonders of the world?
Well, my friends, I don't think that Monrovia was a well-known country until the question mark made his appearance on NWA Powerr, something that we should be very grateful about the question mark for. In fact, even with the current coronavirus that is going on right now, gentlemen, Monrovia has not been affected because they've been wearing masks for centuries.
There you go. There you go, man. And they got to tell them about the volcano.
Oh, my friends, Mount Saint question is revealed in that as well. But I want to make sure that you guys actually go to the question mark's Twitter and watch it for yourselves, because it is something that I think a lot of NWA talent, if they could incorporate something like this into their weekly routine, just a 2.5 minute video to stay in the minds of NWA fans, to stay fresh in the minds of wrestling fans. This is what the NWA needs right now. And I believe that the question mark is going to knock these next few weeks or months, however long it is until an NWA Powerr comes. The question mark is ready to knock this part of the NWA history to the moon. He is so well prepared for this. I think that we're going to really love what he comes out with.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. He's even, with the merch and with everything that he's doing, absolutely awesome. And I totally love that 2-minute clip. And again, it makes you want to watch it every week. So that's awesome. Loved it.
Man, the only problem with Questionable Bay, from what I found, is that there are so many sunken ships at the bottom of that ocean. They say that they use the best steel on those ships. In my opinion, they should have used Mongrovian steel, which we know that question mark pin is actually made out of.
It is, and I did pick that up, so I'm well aware. And I'll tell you that thing, I don't think a train running that thing over would put a dent in it.
Oh, absolutely. That pin would derail the train, my friend.
Absolutely.
So, guys, that's all I got for NWA stuff, unless you got some questions for me. I think that these segments are going to be a lot of, hey, what's going on social media with the NWA, because I have no idea when we're going to see brand new content.
Very true. Very true. What did you think?
I have one question. Just one question for you.
Let's do it.
What did you make of Camille's first match and her finally speaking?
Well, I think that was something that, we've been waiting weeks for there to be a certain level of chatter again about the NWA on social media. And that really brought back a whole lot of fans. Last time I checked, that thing was at 60,000 views, and that was within 24 hours of the NWA releasing that content. And the NWA hasn't got that kind of attention for a pretty long time right now, unfortunately. But dude, that vignette, it really shows what the NWA is possible of when it comes to storytelling. How I look at that video, it really seems like her parents just sent David Lagana a bunch of old VHS footage, which goes to show content is currency, my friends. And what Mr. Lagana did was he took that footage and he made it into, what was that, a 10-minute, maybe an 8-minute vignette all about the origin story of Camille. Guys, once we can get we just need to get on the road again. We just need to be able to go talk to people again, and the NWA is going to crush out this content.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I loved it. I know I talked to Jeff after it was over, and it was really amazing. Like you were saying, the backstory and everything like that, it's all coming together. And as you said, man, once they can get going with this, who knows how far this is going to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't even need to get going again. We don't even need to be in a studio again. We just need to be able to drive across state lines, and the NWA will be just fine.
Yep. Well, we both can't wait for that. I know Jeff and I are big fans, so, the sooner that can happen, the better. So, hey, once again, guys, Adam said he would stick around, and we're going to do the JJ's Q&A segment, and you guys sent us a bunch of questions. We're just going to do one or two of them here, And we will continue to do this on a weekly basis. You guys reacted well to it. So the first question I'm going to read out, this is Monica King. And thank you to Monica. She's a big fan of ours. And also I know she's a fan of NWA as well. And she says, if you guys never stepped foot into the world of wrestling, what other hobbies or ideas would you have taken part in or think you would have discovered? Adam, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, boy. Well, I've pretty much have dove headfirst into the NWA for the last 2.5 years. So if I was not doing this, I really don't foresee anything at this point that I would possibly be doing. When it comes to, I probably would have dove a little bit deeper into conspiracies. I'm a big conspiracy theory guy. Most of the books that I own are about that. Most of the free time when I'm not watching Wrestling Daze or making my own NWA content, I spend watching conspiracies. So I'd say that I'd be even more of a tinfoil hat guy by now.
There you go. Go ahead, Jeff.
So I think for me, I would be doing a lot more writing. I do a lot of writing on the side, and right now the side doesn't have a lot of time. So I would probably be working on the short stories that I'm slowly getting completed. But yeah, that's what I would be doing, is writing.
That's awesome, man. For me, I'm a big music buff. I love music. I cannot play music, but I love listening to music. So I was into, now it's probably a good thing that I'm doing this now because it's saving me money. I was big into collecting vinyl. Again, if you guys do not know what vinyl is, those are records, those big plastic things that you could listen to music from back in the 70s. But I started collecting vinyl again back in 2014. We used to go out and search things out. We'd go to records shows and this and that. So that kind of thing. Obviously now that would have been stopped regardless. But yeah. I would be doing my record collecting thing and going around checking for those. So yes, that's what I would be doing. So there you go.
But aren't we so much happier that wrestling's here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, my friend. And our second question comes from Big Boy Daily. Big Boy is another good fan of of us in the community. He's always in Daze streams. He writes, how do you feel about no audience and no crowd at events? Do you prefer the big crowds or do you prefer not having the crowds there? And also, who do you think will win the men's and women's ladder matches?
Well, for me, when it's dealing with crowds, I'm really a big fan of that intimate arena that the NWA offers on NWA Powerr. It's an opportunity for the wrestlers and the fans to be a participant in the show. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but WWE and AEW, when you go to their shows, there's almost no one sitting on the hard camera side. The studio audience, they actually use as a prop for their TV program, where in the NWA, you're actually a part of the show and the wrestlers can interact with you. So I'm very okay with the NWA not even running shows right now in empty arenas because I want that interaction with the crowd and with the wrestlers. So that's my answer, man. I want that crowd, even if it is an arena. I mean, I think that AEW and that other startup promotion from the Northeast, WWE, have done a great job with moving their hard camera around to make it work in these times. But guys, there's only so long that no crowd wrestling is going to be entertaining for anyone.
Very good point. Yeah, absolutely good point. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I miss the crowds. I think a lot of wrestling, especially with the wrestlers, is about reaction, and certain moments need a reaction. And yes, while we're watching at home and we can react at home, it's not the same feeling of getting that instant reaction right there from a crowd. So I definitely miss the crowds. Sometimes in the past, I think we kind of took that for granted, and we'd say, oh man, this crowd is so cold. And I don't think anyone will say that anymore after all of this stuff is over. In terms of, you said the Money in the Bank matches?
Yes. Yeah. We'll have to get back to Adam for that second part.
Okay.
It was the men's and the women's. Yep.
Okay. So for the women's, I am going to say that Lacey Evans will win, which is outside of the box. And for the men, I kind of want to see who else is in it, but right now I think my money will be on Aleister Black.
Very good choices. Very good choices. So to answer the fan question, and then Adam can come back around and get his 2 picks for Money in the Bank. I'm torn a little bit on the crowd thing. I agree with Adam 100% with the NWA crowd, and they are an absolute fixture in NWA. And again, guys, if you have not watched it, please check it out on YouTube. You will absolutely love it. It's a completely different type of perspective than you're used to. But I don't know. I like what WWE is trying to do, but on the other hand, you can really see how the wrestlers kind of need that crowd to do what they're doing. You can see they come out and they're so used to having the reactions that they're still actually doing all of it as if the fans were still there. So to me, it's really, I do miss the cheering. I miss the noise. I miss the crowds. On the other hand, though, you could have a crowd where not like Jeff's, where they were silent, but you can have the what cheers going on when somebody's trying to talk, and those are fun. But every now and then you kind of just like to see a promo act itself out. So I guess I could kind of go either way. But obviously, listen, I want things to get back to normal, just like everyone else does. And the sooner that happens, I think the better it's going to be for everyone concerned. So getting the people back, however they're going to do it, are they going to make people sit 6 seats apart? Are they going to?
Oh God, that would be horrible. Oh my God, I couldn't imagine a 6 feet rule. I mean, it's like going to a high school dance again, guys. Come on, like a crowd is not a crowd unless you're crowded around each other. Like if it's 6 feet, if it's 6 chairs apart, oh my God, I'd love to see it on TV just to see how they could possibly police that, but there's no chance that they do that.
I agree. And that's been propositioned by some of the governors across the United States.
Don't get me started on governors.
Oh, I know, dude.
You've heard my reaction to the first question today.
We're not going to go into that.
No, we are not.
An all-day discussion. My Money in the Bank winners, I'm going to go with maybe a little bit of a shocker for the women's. I'm picking Liv Morgan. I think she's doing really well. I think her matches have been great lately, and I think she's teasing again that she's going to change up her character again. So I'm going Liv Morgan. The men's, I'm going to agree with Jeff. I'm going to go with Aleister Black. I think it's his time. I think he's done pretty much all he could do to get where he is now, and I think he's really, really popular. So I'm going Aleister Black on the men's side.
Sure. You know what? I will stick with you guys for Aleister Black just because I want to see his entrance with him rising up with the Money in the Bank briefcase in his chest, right? I mean, how are they going to do that? Does he have to hold it in his teeth, or is he just going to hold it across his body like that? So I'd love to see him win just to see how they pull off that entrance. And for the ladies, I'm going to go way out of the box. I think that Dana Brooke won a way into the ladder match, right? I'm going to go with Dana Brooke.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely
she's been off everybody's radar for many months, probably 6 to 8 months, actually, hanging out with EC3 and catering. And why not? Dana Brooke wins it.
There you go, man. There you go. Well, hey, guys, again, thank you so much for submitting these questions. Again, you guys obviously loved it. You submitted us we got, I think, 12 or 15 questions from you guys this week, and we're going to do this every week, and Adam's good enough to join us to do it. So, hey, thank you for that. And, again, thank you to Adam for that NWA segment. And, guys, check out, again, like I said, check out NWA on YouTube and check out the NWA guys on Twitter as well, because you don't want to miss stuff like that Monrovia, vignette that he did on his Twitter account. So thank you to Adam, and we will see you next week, sir.
Sounds great. Bye, guys. Thank you so much, Daze community. I always have time for you. I always have time for Mr. Daze. I'll see you guys next week.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys, welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that NWA segment. I know Jeff and I do. We love that NWA stuff from Adam Rotella, and if you haven't checked out that Mongrovian video from the question mark on his Twitter page, go and do so. It's really, really awesome. Love how they're playing that up, and again, if you guys aren't familiar with that character, he's honestly one of my favorite characters in wrestling right now. I love this stuff. I love the throwback to it. I love the throwback feel. I love the videos that he does. You'll see on his Twitter site stuff about Mongrovian video stores and showing you like it looks like it's filmed an old style VHS cassette tape video. I love it, man. Jeff, I know you love the question mark also.
Absolutely. He's awesome. It's just, honestly, it's just one of those gimmicks that it just works. I mean, you can't really describe why you like it. Sometimes I know I can't. Yep. It just works. I mean, it just works. So yeah, I love it. I love the question mark.
It is. It would be one of those things that you would think if someone described it to you and said, "Hey, someone's going to throw on a mask with a question mark on it, an old style lucha mask with a question mark, and he's going to come up with this whole storyline," you would think, "Oh, this is stupid." But you know what? Like Jeff said, it just works, guys, and we love it. So yeah, definitely go and definitely check that out. So. All right. So our next, and now this one's been on the back burner for a little while. So we've had so much breaking news with the cuts and with everything else that it's been hard to get to this. But listen, we don't just focus on just WWE here, right? We talk about NWA a little bit. Haven't talked all that much about AEW lately. So let's get to this. And during this thing, right, during this segment, we're going to do this little piece called a soapbox. Now, what a soapbox is for you young guys out there, that's when, someone stands on top of it. It was an old saying where somebody just got on top of this old style wooden soapbox and they would go off on something and talk about something. Well, we're going to start that with this segment, right? So myself or Jeff, either one of us sometimes we'll get on our little soapbox and we'll talk for a few minutes about what is bothering us or what's really maybe annoying us a little bit. So this segment was about what are you guys thinking about the Dark Order and all about Brody Lee and what he's doing with the whole poking fun at Vince thing, week after week after week. Now we had some breaking developments with them, and we're seeing another new wrestler that they're getting in there who looks a lot like Bane from Batman. Big dude, not sure who he is, but it looks like they're making a little bit of movement there, and who knows, maybe Rowan ends up there as well. But what do you, I guess the question, let's put it out there, is how are you feeling about this? And I know that I was a big fan of this gimmick, this Dark Order thing when it first started. I loved the vignettes. I loved the videotapes of seeing a person who's down on his luck, downtrodden, and gets to go and join up with this group and they give him a purpose. I loved those vignettes. They were creepy. And then when the whole thing kind of got started with Evil Uno and the other members, you kind of didn't really know where it was going. You saw it a little bit on AEW Dark. And then obviously when we knew the Exalted one was coming, it got really exciting. Nobody really knew who it is. Was it Matt Hardy? Was it someone else? And then we find out it was Brody Lee, and his entrance was amazing. Coming into the ring, dispatching with the other guys in the ring super easy, like he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. But then after that, it went to just these vignettes about, and they're all definitely poking fun at Vince McMahon. And I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm not liking it as much as I did when it first started. I'm not sensing that creepiness factor anymore. It's almost turned into a humor type of thing now. And I don't know. I'm just not getting that. Now, maybe, again, you got to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe things changed. Maybe it was supposed to go in a different direction. And because there's no fans in the building, they had to completely change it. I don't know. But enough about me, Jeff. Climb up on that soapbox and tell everybody what you think about the Dark Order.
Okay, I'm going to, well, I won't start with that. I'll end with that. But I absolutely hate what they're doing with the Dark Order at this point. And I think it goes to something I said a while back in terms of AEW always finding a way to take shots at WWE. When you have a product like AEW, it's different, it's fresh, it's new. Run with that. Make that your angle. We're new. We're not about the old stuff, and we're not gonna poke fun at another promotion. We're gonna do our own thing. And that's what I really enjoyed about the introduction of the Dark Order. And I was so happy when we found out that Brody Lee was the Exalted One. I think I talked about that a lot. I probably got on Joe's nerves about how excited I was for Brody Lee to have a role like this, because he deserves it. And I feel like, this would have allowed him to actually showcase his talent and what it is that he can do. And now all of a sudden you basically turn him into a cheap version of Vince McMahon, and it's not funny, it's not enjoyable, and it's transparent. Like, people can see that they're clearly taking shots at Vince McMahon. And listen, I love Cody Rhodes. I love Dustin Rhodes. I love most everyone at AEW. I have a couple people I'm not too fond of. However, don't get on an interview and tell me that it's not poking fun at Vince McMahon when there are documented stories out there that talk about some of these little, things that Vince does in meetings, and you're doing it right there. So don't tell me that you're not poking fun at him. Maybe you want it to be a little less transparent, but as wrestling fans, we're not stupid. We know what's going on. We've seen the shots back and forth. We get it. But AEW, if anyone is listening from AEW, this is what I want to say to you. You do not have to constantly take shots at WWE to be relevant. You guys have done tremendous stuff. And I am so excited to see what happens in the future. I want AEW to continue to succeed. I'd love to see AEW go head-to-head with Raw or Smackdown one day, because at that point, I feel like it's a true competition. Having said all of that, stop taking shots at WWE. You look pathetic when you do it. You look like a little brother who's trying to get the attention of Big Brother. Right now, WWE is living rent-free in the heads of the executives and whoever else in AEW, and it's really making you look like a bunch of idiots sometimes. So my advice would be, and listen, I'm no one when it comes to telling people what to do, but if you want this thing to really go where it can go, just stop taking shots at WWE. It doesn't make any sense, and you just look like a bunch of kids who don't know what's going on, and clearly that's not the case. I'm going to end with this because I don't want to offend anyone that's an AEW fan, and I know I've been a little tough on them the last few minutes. I love AEW. I like the majority of the stuff that they do. I want to see them succeed, and I want them to continue to innovate and do more things that separate them from the WWE. And if we can get back to that, if we can see more of that, and they still have time to do this with Brody Lee, if they can give him that feel that we got when we first saw the New Order, the Dark Order introduced, that's what would really pop with fans. And that's what I think they need to get back to. And that's all I have to say. I could say a lot more, but I'm going to get off of my soapbox now.
And with that, Jeff steps off the box. There you go, guys. So Yeah, I listen. I agree with a lot of that. I'm a little disappointed with it myself, and I was really excited. I mean, hey, I joined the Dark Order. When I saw that hashtag, I went to their website. I not the website, but there. I went to I emailed them. They've sent me some things along the way, but yeah, man, I kind of was hoping that it was kind of the creepy type thing, that they were going to try to compete a little bit with the Fiend and with some of the creepy stuff they were doing, but it's really just gotten away from that. And I kind of hope, like Jeff said, I hope that they can fix it. I hope that they take a good look at it. Now maybe with this new character coming in there, they're going to make it a little different, and I hope so. I hope so. And I agree with a lot of those points. I don't think it's a good company. They're doing good things. They're obviously getting viewers. And, you don't really need to just go after the competition like that. You're already winning. Why would you need as a front runner to do that? And yeah, I don't know. To me, it just makes you look a little bit silly. So, yeah, man, I would have to agree with you there. So there's another segment, guys, that we're going to have. We're going to have a little soapbox segment every week, and myself or Jeff would, get up on that soapbox and just kind of say it like it is and tell you how we feel about particular things. So, yeah, man, that's awesome. Hey, one quick note before we go into our final segment in the community shoot. If you guys are on Facebook, we now have a Insiders Wrestling Podcast group on Facebook as well. We branched it off of we did have a Facebook site for a while. It's more of a businessy kind of a site, but we did branch a group off there. So if you are on Facebook, make sure you look it up. Insiders Facebook group. We'll have news and stuff on there. We'll have clips from interviews and such as well. So if you don't get on YouTube as often or anything like that, you can check us out on there as well. So, and finally, guys, coming up next, we have the community shoot. And this week, we're going to have another collection. We're going to have some artwork as well. And we've got some artwork starting here. We have a piece of art here from Marie Wyman, WHYMAN, sends out. This is Spencer said wanted to do some art this morning during our homeschooling. So he did a picture of a Fiend pop vinyl. So that's awesome. What a great job he did too. So shout out to Spencer for that one. And then Emily, Sunny Wolf, she was talking during a stream about having to do some assignments that she had for her teachers, that she had to redo some logos. So she sent along those as well. She redid, she's a big Tim Hortons fan, so she redid the Tim Hortons logo. She also redid ours as well. She's the Insiders Wrestling Podcast logo that she did for us as well, which is awesome. And then she redid the Firefly Funhouse logo as well, man. So listen, guys, and again, we'll have some more art thrown in there as well as we end up the show here. And as always, we thank you for this stuff every week. You keep sending it along. We will keep posting it. I know we've had different people sending us some stuff over the last few weeks, and we really, really appreciate that. And keep sending us, like I said, your collection picks, no matter how big or small. We don't care. Send them along, and we will put them in this segment for you. In fact, the person who drew the Funhouse belt that we had on, I think it was last episode, they got in touch with us on YouTube and asked us if we would have any ideas for another belt that they can draw. So how cool is that? Amazing. We got responses about that as well. So yeah, but listen, guys, it's been a great show. We had a lot of fun today, and make sure you listen to the interviews this week. Again, like I said, we'll have Coaster Maniac's interview on Wednesday, and then we'll have Jason Peace's interview on Friday before SmackDown. So make sure you check those out. As always, stay in touch with us. Let us know what you think, your ideas, your thoughts. We put them in as much as we can, and we will see you next week, and we will see you with a brand new segment called Hot Tag, which is Brandy, who you heard in the interview, who we are absolutely thrilled to have with us. So from myself and for Jeff, take us out, man.
Thank you guys so much for all of your support. We really appreciate it. Like Joe said, we've got interviews coming up on Wednesday and Friday. Don't forget about Abby's window that goes on before the stream on Wednesday. So again, thank you guys so much. And we look forward to speaking with all of you again soon.
Absolutely. And we also look forward to Jeff's journey back into the wrestling business. So stay tuned for that as well. Guys, thank you very much. And I hope you all stay safe and have a great week. And we will talk to you again next week.